Imagine this for a moment. Every dollar you've ever earned, every financial win, every struggle, every limit you keep running into, none of it started in your wallet. It all started in your mind. Your brain has been quietly writing the script of your financial life long before you ever opened a bank account. And tonight, you're not here by accident. You're here because something inside you is tired of repeating the same patterns. Something deeper is ready to shift. Here's the truth most people never hear in school. Money isn't a number. It's a mindset. Wealth isn't an outcome. It's an identity. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You rise or fall to the level of your mental programming. Some people spend their entire lives working harder, running faster, grinding longer. Yet nothing changes. Not because they're not capable, but because the brain can't create what the identity doesn't believe it deserves. But you're here because a different part of you is waking up. The part that senses you were meant for more. The part that knows wealth is not luck, not talent, not background, but a skill. A skill you can train. A skill you can reprogram, just like a muscle, pattern by pattern, belief by belief, thought by thought. And tonight, we begin that rewiring. As you listen, your nervous system will relax. Your thoughts will slow. And your subconscious mind, the real architect of your financial destiny, will start absorbing new commands, new beliefs, new possibilities. This audiobook is not about motivation. It's about transformation. A gentle but powerful shift in the way your mind sees money, creates money, and holds money. If you let these ideas in, they will quietly reshape the way you think, the way you decide, the way you act until wealth stops feeling like a chase and starts feeling like your natural state. So take a slow breath, let the day fade, and allow yourself to step into a new chapter of who you are becoming. Because wealth doesn't start when you get paid. It starts right here in the mind that finally remembers what it was capable of all along. Most people think wealth begins with opportunity, with talent, with luck, with being in the right place at the right time. But the truth, the quiet truth almost nobody was taught growing up, is that wealth begins long before any paycheck, any promotion, any idea. It begins in a place you cannot see the blueprint inside your mind. Every financial move you've ever made, every ceiling you've ever hit, every breakthrough you've ever experienced, none of it started in your bank account. It started in your beliefs, in the identity you carry when no one is watching. Money is not a number. Money is not an object. Money is a mirror, and the reflection it shows you is shaped by the thoughts you repeat, the emotions you rehearse, and the patterns you unconsciously live inside. From childhood, your brain quietly absorbed messages about money, messages that weren't yours, but felt true simply because they were repeated. You heard things like, money doesn't grow on trees, be grateful and don't want too much. Rich people are greedy. You have to struggle to earn a living. They weren't lessons, they were programming. Your subconscious mind accepted these ideas as rules, and those rules became the invisible blueprint guiding your financial life. This is why some people work tirelessly and still stay stuck. Not because they lack effort, but because they're trying to build a skyscraper on a blueprint designed for a small house. Here's the reality. You do not earn what you want. You earn what your identity believes you deserve. Give $1 million to someone with a poor identity, and they'll find ways to lose it. Give $1 million to someone with a wealthy identity, and they'll multiply it not because of luck, but because their internal blueprint expects expansion. This is why you've seen people lose everything after sudden success, and also why you've seen people rebuild after losing it all. Identity always wins. Identity always returns you to your subconscious baseline. But here's the powerful part. Identity is not fixed. It's trained. It's conditioned. It's rewired. Just like a muscle, your mind can be sculpted. Just like software, your beliefs can be rewritten. Right now, your brain is running old code. Code written by society, by fear, by scarcity, by people who didn't understand wealth themselves. But tonight, as you listen, as your nervous system relaxes, as your mind becomes more receptive, that old code begins to loosen its grip. You're not just learning how to make more money, you're learning how to think in a way that naturally attracts money. You're learning how to install a new baseline, a wealthy baseline, one built on clarity, confidence, and expansion instead of fear, guilt, and survival. Think of your mind as a bridge between two realities. Reality, money feels hard. Opportunities feel rare. You work more, but grow less. Money comes in and slips away. Every step feels like a battle. Reality B. Money flows toward you because your identity aligns with abundance. Opportunities appear because your brain finally recognizes them. You act with certainty, not hesitation. You feel worthy of earning, keeping, and multiplying wealth. Most people live in reality A not because they lack the ability to cross the bridge, but because no one ever taught them where the bridge even is. The bridge is the mind. When your mental blueprint shifts, your entire financial life shifts. You stop chasing money and begin attracting it. You stop fearing opportunity and begin recognizing it. You stop behaving like someone trying to survive and start moving like someone built to expand. Your beliefs shape your emotions. Your emotions shape your actions. Your actions shape your results. And your results reinforce your beliefs, creating a loop. For most people, this loop is accidental. For the wealthy, this loop is intentional. They deliberately feed their mind thoughts that build confidence. They deliberately visualize outcomes that prime their brain for opportunity. They deliberately rehearse emotions that match abundance, not scarcity. They deliberately shape an identity that wealth gravitates toward. This is why the rich get richer, not because the world is unfair, but because they've installed a mental operating system that keeps them moving upward even when their circumstances temporarily fall. And that is the shift you are beginning right now. You're not here simply to make more money. You're here to become the kind of person money trusts. Money is energy. It gravitates toward clarity, purpose, and stability. When you become steady, intentional, and aligned, money feels safe with you. It stays longer. It grows faster. It multiplies effortlessly. But here's the most important truth of all. There is nothing wrong with you. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not broken. You simply inherited a blueprint that wasn't designed for wealth, and now you are rewriting it. Not by force, not by pressure, but by listening, learning, absorbing, letting these ideas sink into your subconscious, where real transformation happens. The next chapters will guide you step by step how to rewire your brain, how to shift your relationship with money, how to build identity-based wealth, how to think like a creator, not a consumer, how to operate like someone who rises consistently, calmly, and powerfully. But for now, let this one truth take root. Wealth does not begin with money. Wealth begins with you. The mind you train becomes the life you live. And tonight, your training has already begun. If money begins in the mind, then the next question becomes simple. How do you reprogram the mind for wealth? Not with hype, not with luck, but with neuroscience, the real mechanism that controls your choices, habits, emotions, and eventually, your income. Your brain is a living, breathing computer. Every belief you hold, every reaction you have, every expectation you carry is a line of code. And here's the part most people never learn. Your beliefs were not chosen, they were installed. They were formed long before you understood what money truly meant. Your brain absorbed them from parents, culture, school, religion, fear, scarcity, pain, and it stored all of it as truth. Not because it was true, but because it was familiar. The brain's highest priority is survival, not prosperity. And familiar patterns, even harmful ones, feel safe. So, if you grew up hearing money is hard, you have to struggle to succeed. People like us don't become rich. Be careful with money. Don't ask for too much. Your subconscious filed those beliefs under the category of things that keep me safe. And now, as an adult, whenever you try to stretch, risk, invest, save, build, or grow, the old code fires off alarms. This is why you hesitate, why you procrastinate, why you sabotage opportunities. Not because you're weak, not because you're lazy, but because your brain is protecting you from a version of wealth it was never programmed to handle. And this is where neuroplasticity becomes your greatest advantage. Neuroplasticity is your brain's ability to reshape itself. It means your beliefs are not permanent. Your identity is not fixed. Your patterns are not destiny. The brain rewires based on repetition, emotion, and focus. And when you know how to use those three ingredients deliberately, you can rebuild your entire relationship with money from the inside out. Let's break down how wealth reprogramming truly works. 1. Repetition. The brain believes what it sees most often. Your brain doesn't ask what's true. It asks what's familiar, and it turns the familiar into identity. If you say, "I'm terrible with money. I can't afford that. I'm always behind," over and over again, your brain stops questioning it. It absorbs it as your description of reality. But when you repeat wealthy thoughts, "I'm building wealth every day. I make smart money decisions. I attract opportunities effortlessly. I am the kind of person money grows with," you're feeding your brain new code. You're rewriting the operating system from survival to expansion. This isn't magic. It's mechanics. What you repeat, you become. 2. Emotion. The brain learns through feeling, not words. You can't outthink an emotional pattern. Emotion sticks. Emotion rewires. This is why every wealthy person uses some form of emotional rehearsal visualization, intention setting, gratitude, identity anchoring. They make the feeling of abundance familiar long before the evidence appears. Your brain has a powerful rule. If I feel it deeply, it must be real. When you mentally rehearse the emotions of security, clarity, confidence, expansion, your subconscious begins to adopt those experiences as memories, not imagined, experienced. And as soon as your emotions shift, your decisions shift. Your tolerance for risk shifts. Your resistance dissolves. Your behavior aligns with the emotional identity you've been practicing. This is why the poor visualize fear and call it realism, and the wealthy visualize possibility and call it planning. Emotion is the steering wheel of the subconscious. 3. Focus. The brain filters your reality to match your identity. Your brain is constantly sorting information through a system called the reticular activating system. This mental filter decides what opportunities you notice and which ones you ignore. If your identity says, "I'm not good with money," your brain filters out opportunities you're capable of. You literally don't see them, not because they're not there, but because your mind is not tuned to them. But if your identity says, "I'm a wealth creator," your brain begins catching patterns. People, ideas, numbers, timing, and possibilities that align with abundance. This is why two people can hear the same information, one gets rich from it, and the other dismisses it. The difference isn't intelligence, it's programming. You only see what you're prepared to receive. Here's the breakthrough. Reprogramming your brain. For wealth is not about becoming someone new. It's about removing the old code that never belonged to you. Asterisk, asterisk. Every wealthy thought you adopt is a return to your natural state: clarity instead of chaos, confidence instead of fear, expansion instead of contraction. And the moment your brain begins to shift, your behavior follows without force. You stop hesitating. You stop shrinking. You stop sabotaging opportunities. You stop playing small with your future. Instead, you make decisions faster. You take calculated risks. You follow through. You communicate confidently. You handle money responsibly. You invest instead of merely survive. You act like someone building a future, not someone running from the past. Remember this: the brain does not care what's real. It cares what's repeated. If scarcity is repeated, scarcity becomes identity. If abundance is repeated, abundance becomes instinct. You've already taken the first step by listening. Now, you're entering the phase where your subconscious begins absorbing a new way of thinking slowly, consistently, permanently. But for now, let this truth settle in. Wealth isn't something you chase. It's something your mind learns to allow. And you're learning it right now. Your relationship with money is one of the most powerful relationships in your life, yet most people never examine it. They think money is just numbers, banking apps, or paychecks. But money is emotional long before it becomes practical. It reflects your beliefs, your identity, your self-worth, and even your fears. And here's the truth: you don't earn money, you attract it. Keep it, or lose it, based on the relationship you have with it. This relationship is shaped long before adulthood. It's shaped in the arguments you overheard as a child, the stress you watched your parents carry, the cultural stories you absorbed, the silent lessons you learned from scarcity, comparison, and survival. Most people grow up with money as a source of pressure, not empowerment, and without realizing it, they carry that emotional debt into adulthood. Let's break this down gently, honestly, and with the courage to see what most people avoid. 1. Mixed emotions equal mixed financial results. You may want more money, but wanting is not enough. You must look at how you feel about it. Do you admire people with money or resent them? Do you believe money brings freedom or problems? Do you spend to feel safe or feel guilty when you spend at all? Do you feel excited about wealth or secretly unworthy of it? If your emotional signals conflict, Your financial reality will too. You can't attract what you simultaneously fear. You can't grow what you secretly resent. You can't receive what you don't feel worthy of. Money responds to clarity, not confusion, to respect, not resentment, to confidence, not guilt, and your results reflect the emotional tone you hold toward it. 2. Money mirrors how you treat it. Imagine money as a relationship, a real one. If money were a person, how would it describe its experience with you? Would it say, "You ignore me until you're desperate, you treat me with fear, you push me away because you don't feel worthy, you never learn how I work, you spend me impulsively when stressed and avoid me when overwhelmed"? Or would it say, "You handle me with intention, you respect me, you give me direction, you make room for me to grow, you appreciate me instead of fearing me"? How you treat money emotionally determines whether it wants to stay or leave. Just like any relationship, it thrives with attention, understanding, and care. Millionaires don't love money. They respect it. They study it. They manage it. They speak to themselves about it differently. Not with desperation, but with direction. 3. Guilt, the silent blocker of wealth. One of the biggest emotional conflicts people carry is guilt. Feeling guilty for wanting more. Guilty for earning more than others. Guilty for dreaming bigger than their family. Guilty because they associate wealth with selfishness. This guilt doesn't just feel heavy, it blocks opportunity. If your subconscious believes wanting money is bad, it will push away anything that brings more. You might procrastinate, hesitate, overspend, undercharge, or self-sabotage, all to maintain emotional consistency with guilt. But here's the truth: money is neutral. It only amplifies what already exists within you. If you're generous, money helps you give more. If you're creative, money helps you build more. If you're thoughtful, money helps you empower more people. Wanting more does not make you selfish. It makes you responsible. The world needs more good people with resources, not fewer. 4. Healing begins with a new inner dialogue. You cannot change your financial behavior until you change the emotional script running underneath it. This script often sounds like "I'm just not good with money. I don't deserve wealth. I can't keep money. I'm afraid of losing what little I have. Money always causes stress. I'll never be rich like them." These quiet sentences shape your entire financial identity. So we must rewrite them, not with blind positivity, but with intentional clarity. Replace "I'm bad with money" with "I'm learning money skillfully every day." Replace "I can't afford that" with "How can I afford that?" Replace "I don't deserve more" with "I am growing into someone who handles money well." Replace "Money is stressful" with "Money is a tool I'm learning to master." These shifts seem small, but they change your internal instructions, and your subconscious follows instructions always. 5. Gratitude, the emotion that attracts growth. The simplest form of emotional wealth healing is gratitude. Not the cliché kind, the grounded kind. Instead of saying, "I hate bills," you say, "I'm grateful I have the ability to pay for what I use." Instead of avoiding your finances out of fear, you say, "I'm grateful for clarity. It helps me grow." Instead of obsessing over lack, you say, "I'm grateful for every dollar. It's a seed, not a limit." Gratitude stabilizes your nervous system around money, and a regulated nervous system makes better decisions, takes healthier risks, and stays consistent. 6. Money wants leadership. Not emotion. Money follows leadership. It follows direction. It follows people who know where they're going. Chaos repels money. Clarity attracts it. This is why the wealthy treat money less like a prize and more like a system. They give money a job. They assign every dollar a purpose. They separate emotion from decision-making. They use money with intention, not impulse. And as a result, money flows back to them with ease. Not because of luck, but because money feels safe around discipline. 7. Healing creates magnetic stability. Once your relationship with money becomes respectful, calm, grounded, consistent, clear, your results change automatically. You no longer chase money, you build a life it naturally flows toward. You no longer panic, you plan. You no longer self-sabotage, you self-direct. You no longer shrink, you expand. This is the foundation of wealth. Not tactics, not strategies, not hacks, but an internal shift that turns money from a threat into a partner. And in the next chapter, we take that emotional healing and turn it into power by building the mental movie that your brain will follow into your financial future. Before wealth becomes a number, before it becomes a bank balance, a paycheck, or an investment, it first becomes an image, a picture, a feeling, a mental movie your brain rehearses long before it appears in your reality. This is the part most people never understand. You don't create wealth with effort. You create it with identity. Effort simply follows the identity you install. Visualization is not wishful thinking. It is mental conditioning, identity rewriting, neurological rehearsal. It is the process of teaching your subconscious who you are becoming so your actions, decisions, and habits can rise to meet that version of you. Let's go deeper. 1. Your brain follows the images you feed it. The human brain is a projector. Every morning, it plays a movie, your expectations, and your life follows the script. If your mental movie is filled with stress, scarcity, fear, uncertainty, I hope things work out, then your behavior becomes hesitant, small, and reactive. But when your inner movie becomes confidence, clarity, capability, abundance, I know who I am, becoming your behavior shifts automatically, even without trying. You make bold decisions. You see opportunities faster. You recognize patterns that used to overwhelm you. You speak differently. You negotiate differently. You think differently. Not because you forced yourself to change, but because your brain was already rehearsing the upgraded version of you. 2. The identity gap, where most people get stuck. Most people visualize the outcome, not the identity. They picture the car, the house, the income, the bank balance, but they never picture who they must become to create it. And that's why their results don't change. You cannot step into a wealthy life with a self-image shaped by survival. You cannot hold abundance with the hands of someone who still fears losing everything. You cannot execute like a millionaire while identifying as someone who just gets by. The identity gap is what keeps people stuck. Visualization closes that gap. It installs the identity before the results arrive. And the brain, loyal as always, begins aligning behavior with that new identity. 3. Emotion is the code your brain understands. A mental picture alone is not enough. The power is in the emotion you attach to it. Emotion is the neurological save button. When you visualize your future with calm confidence, your brain records it as truth. When you imagine abundance with gratitude instead of desperation, your brain accepts wealth as safe. When you feel the stability, freedom, and pride of your future self, your nervous system begins adapting to that reality. Now, not later. This is why the wealthy often say their success was decided long before it happened. Their minds lived there first. 4. The mental movie exercise, the 60-second recode. Here is the practice that rewires identity faster than anything else. Do it daily, morning or night, for 60 seconds. Close your eyes. Breathe slowly. Let your shoulders drop. Now imagine you open your banking app, and the numbers reflect stability, growth, confidence. Feel the calm. Feel the grounded pride of someone who manages money well. Imagine you making decisions from strength, not fear, negotiating with clarity, handling challenges with strategy instead of panic. Imagine you stepping into a room with quiet confidence, not arrogance. Just calm certainty. People feel your presence. You speak less, but your words carry weight. Imagine you trusting yourself around money, investing wisely, planning intentionally, acting consistently. Feel the emotional shift. Feel the version of you who doesn't chase wealth, but creates it naturally. Hold that image for 60 seconds. Your brain doesn't know you're imagining. It only knows you're rehearsing. And what you rehearse, you become. 5. Cognitive priming, why visualization attracts opportunities. Neuroscience shows that your brain filters millions of pieces of information every second, but it only focuses on what matches your identity. This is called priming. When your identity shifts, your focus shifts automatically. Suddenly you notice opportunities you use to overlook, people who inspire you instead of intimidate you, patterns that help you multiply money instead of lose it, ideas that feel aligned instead of overwhelming. It's not magic. It's perception. A wealthy mind sees what a survival mind misses. Visualization strengthens the neural networks responsible for opportunity recognition. You attract what you are prepared to notice. 6. You must become the person your future needs. Your future doesn't need a lucky version of you. It needs a stronger version, a clear version, a wealth-capable version. Visualization is how you build that version in advance. When you rehearse confidence, self-reliance, discipline, calm, decision-making, strategic thinking, your brain begins wiring itself to deliver those responses automatically. Identity creates behavior. Behavior creates results. Results reinforce identity. This is the loop you are rewriting. 7. The shift from trying to becoming there is a moment quiet, subtle, when the brain accepts your new identity. You stop trying to be disciplined and start behaving like someone who simply is. You stop trying to think rich and start making decisions from a wealth identity. You stop chasing money and start moving as someone money trusts. This is the turning point. Not effort, not hustle. Identity. And once identity changes, wealth becomes the expected outcome, not the struggle. 8. The mind is the first million. Your first million is not money. It's identity. It's the moment your inner world shifts from scarcity to strategy, from insecurity to self-trust, from doubt to direction. Visualization plants the seed. Identity waters it. Behavior grows it. Wealth harvests it. This is the mental movie of millions, and tonight, you began writing yours. Every person alive carries an invisible thermostat, not for temperature, but for wealth. You can work harder. You can take more risks. You can start businesses, switch careers, and chase every opportunity you see. But if your internal thermostat is set low, your life will always return to the same financial level, not because of fate, not because of luck, But because your subconscious consistently pulls you back to the identity it believes is safe, this is the hidden mechanism behind every financial breakthrough and every financial breakdown. Let's open the door to the truth. Most people never realize your income rises only to the level your identity allows. 1. The subconscious always seeks familiarity. Your subconscious mind has one job: keep you consistent with who you believe you are. Not happy, not successful, not rich, just consistent. If you believe you're someone who always struggles with money, just gets by, isn't meant to be wealthy, never catches a break, your subconscious will filter your opportunities, decisions, and behaviors to match that belief. It's not punishing you. It's protecting you from the discomfort of becoming someone new. This is why people sabotage new opportunities, overspend when they earn more, procrastinate on important financial decisions, or panic the moment money increases. Their thermostat is fighting to return to the old setting. 2. Your thermostat was not set by you. Your financial identity didn't come from your achievements. It didn't come from your intelligence. It didn't even come from your personality. It was programmed by childhood conditioning, parents' beliefs, cultural messages, emotional experiences, early failures, financial scarcity, fear-based advice. If you grew up hearing money is hard, be grateful for what you have. We can't afford that. Rich people are greedy. Your subconscious internalized those ideas as truth. And now, every decision you make around money is influenced by that old programming. Not consciously, subconsciously. This is why mindset alone isn't enough. You can't think positive your way out of programming. You have to rewrite the code. 3. Identity drives behavior, not the other way around. Most people try to change their life by changing their actions. I'll work harder. I'll be disciplined this time. I'll finally start saving. I'll stop overspending. But behavior is the last step in the chain. Identity, emotion, action, result. If the identity doesn't change, the emotions don't change. If the emotions don't change, the behavior never lasts. You don't overspend because you're irresponsible. You overspend because your identity says, I'm not someone who holds money. You don't undercharge your skills because you're humble. You do it because your identity says, I'm not worth more. You don't struggle with money because of fate. You struggle because your identity says, this level feels familiar. Identity is the thermostat. Income is the temperature. One always adjusts to the other. 4. The turning point. When identity expands, your financial life changes the moment your identity shifts from I hope I can succeed to I am someone who succeeds, from I want wealth to I am a wealth builder, from I wish money would come to me to money is safe with me. In that moment, you are no longer chasing wealth, you are aligning with it. Your subconscious stops sabotaging you because the new identity now feels familiar, and what feels familiar becomes achievable. This is why people who experience a deep internal shift see their income rise without forcing it. Their thermostat finally allows it. 5. The identity installation method, the inner rewrite. Here is the most powerful practice for resetting your wealth identity. Use it daily. It takes 1 minute. Step 1. Name the old identity. Quietly acknowledge the version of you that operated from fear or scarcity. I release the part of me that believed money was difficult. I release the version of me that felt undeserving. I release the identity shaped by survival. Naming it breaks its power. Step 2. Declare the new identity. Speak softly but firmly. As if imprinting a truth, I am disciplined with money. I am a creator of wealth. I am someone money flows to and stays with. I am safe with abundance. I am raising my financial thermostat now. Step 3. Feel the emotional upgrade. Identity doesn't change with words. It changes with emotion. Feel the calm. Feel the certainty. Feel the grounded self-respect of a person who handles wealth well. For 10 seconds, embody that version of you. This is identity installation. This is how your thermostat resets. 6. The emotional trigger that locks wealth in. Here's the truth. Most people never learn. Your income rises when your nervous system feels safe with more money. Not excited. Not disparity. Safe. When money feels safe, you stop sabotaging, procrastinating, shrinking, overspending, panicking, hesitating. Your body no longer rejects abundance. It receives it. A wealthy mindset without a regulated nervous system is impossible. Identity must be felt, not just thought. You train your emotional safety by visualizing abundance without tension, by imagining more money without fear, by allowing yourself to feel worthy without guilt, shame, or pressure. This is the hidden layer of wealth work. 7. When you change your setting, money behaves differently around you. People think they need more strategies, more tactics, more hustle. But strategies don't work if your thermostat rejects the results they generate. Change the setting, and your life changes with it. Suddenly, you notice opportunities, you take risks calmly, you think long-term, you act like a leader, you make decisions faster, you attract the right people, you manage money with purpose, because you've become the person your future was waiting for. Wealth doesn't respond to effort. It responds to identity. And right now, you're writing a new one. Before money becomes a result, before wealth becomes a lifestyle, your nervous system decides whether you are allowed to step into abundance or whether you stay locked in survival. People think wealth is about strategy. But strategy is useless if your nervous system is overwhelmed by fear every time an opportunity appears. This is why two people can receive the same chance. One steps forward, the other freezes. Both have the intelligence. Both have the desire. Only one has the nervous system capable of handling growth. Here is the uncomfortable truth. You're not limited by your potential. You're limited by what your nervous system believes is safe. 1. Your nervous system controls your financial limits. Every time you're presented with a situation involving making more money, asking for a raise, starting a business, investing, learning a new skill, or stepping into the unknown, your nervous system runs a quick scan. Is this safe, or is this a threat? If your past has conditioned you to associate money with stress, conflict, shame, risk, embarrassment, or loss, your body reacts exactly the way it would if it sensed danger. Your heart rate rises, your chest tightens, your thoughts scatter, your clarity disappears, your survival instincts take over. Not because the opportunity is dangerous, but because abundance feels unfamiliar. 2. Fear disguised as logic. Fear doesn't always look like fear. It often shows up as I need more time. I'm not ready yet. What if this goes wrong, maybe later? It's safer to stay where I am. I'm just being realistic. These aren't logic. They're physiological avoidance patterns. Your nervous system is trying to protect you from stepping into a life it hasn't been trained to hold. This is why people stay stuck. They don't lack intelligence. They lack safety. Your nervous system must learn that wealth is not a threat, but a place where you can breathe, act, and expand. 3. Stress tolerance is a wealth skill. Most people think stress tolerance is about dealing with hardship. But in truth, stress tolerance is about handling growth. Every financial upgrade will stretch your comfort zone. You will feel discomfort when you raise your prices. You invest in yourself. You say no to draining people. You say yes to bigger opportunities. You stop playing small. You take responsibility for your future. You build systems instead of chasing quick relief. Growth feels like pressure at first because it disrupts your emotional patterns. But here's the secret. You don't grow by avoiding discomfort. You grow by teaching your nervous system that discomfort is safe. The wealthy don't feel less fear. They've simply trained their body to stay regulated in the presence of it. 4. Survival mode blocks wealth. When your nervous system is stuck in survival mode, your brain shifts into tunnel vision. It can't think long-term. It can't strategize. It can't solve problems creatively. It can't identify opportunities. It can't hold complexity. All it can do is react. Survival mode was designed for real physical danger. Not email, not bills, not responsibilities, not change. But the body doesn't know the difference. It only knows the feeling. This is why people living in financial stress make rushed decisions, chase fast money, avoid planning, struggle to save, stay in jobs they hate, take fewer risks, shrink their goals, sabotage long-term success. Their body is trying to protect them while simultaneously preventing them from leveling up. 5. How the wealthy rewire their fear response. Wealthy people don't react less, they regulate faster. They use a few fundamental habits. Pause before action. When something triggers fear, they don't rush. They breathe. They evaluate. They choose. This rewires the loop from reactivity to strategy. Normalize exposure. The wealthy put themselves in situations that stretch them, speaking up, investing, negotiating, learning new skills until the unfamiliar becomes familiar. The nervous system adapts through exposure, not avoidance. Emotional labeling instead of "I'm anxious." They label precisely, "I'm feeling uncertainty. I'm feeling pressure. I'm feeling activation." This alone can calm the nervous system by 40%. Return to the body. Wealthy people use breathwork, grounding, stillness, or simple physical cues to bring the nervous system back to safety. They understand this truth. You can't build a wealthy life from a dysregulated body. 6. Safety creates capacity. Once your nervous system feels safe, your capacity expands. Suddenly, you can tolerate risk, plan long-term, stay calm during setbacks, think creatively under pressure, make decisions, strategically handle responsibility, trust yourself with more. This is the foundation of financial resilience. Most people try to grow by adding more to their life, more information, more work, more effort. The wealthy grow by increasing their capacity, their ability to hold more without collapsing. It's not about pushing harder. It's about staying regulated while you rise. 7. Freedom begins in the nervous system. Your nervous system is the gatekeeper of your income. It decides how high you can climb and how long you can stay there. If safety is low, your success will always be temporary. If safety is high, your success becomes sustainable. This is why the richest people in the world prioritize quiet, clarity, presence, rest, mental space, emotional regulation. Not because it's trendy, but because it keeps their internal system stable enough to handle massive responsibility, pressure, and opportunity. A calm nervous system is a wealth multiplier. A chaotic one is a wealth destroyer. 8. You are building a body that can hold wealth right now. With every breath, every moment of awareness, every step you take into discomfort without collapsing, you are training your nervous system to trust expansion. This is how wealth becomes natural, not forced, not frantic, not stressful. When your body feels safe with more, your life will expand to match that safety. You're not just training your brain, you're training your entire being. And in the next chapter, we will connect this inner stability with the emotional intelligence that separates those who earn money once from those who build wealth for a lifetime. There is a moment in every wealth journey when making more money has nothing to do with working harder. It has everything to do with thinking differently. Millionaires aren't defined by luck. They're defined by models, mental structures that guide how they interpret problems, see opportunities, and make decisions under pressure. While most people operate from emotion, habit, and instinct, the wealthy operate from models. These models determine how they invest, how they evaluate risk, how they use time, how they build value, and how they multiply effort instead of adding more effort. Once you understand their mental frameworks, you stop trying to chase wealth the hard way. You start thinking in systems, leverage, and long-term strategy, and your results accelerate effortlessly. Let's break down the core mind models the wealthy use every single day. 1. The system mindset: wealth must be built, not carried. Poor and middle-class minds operate on effort. The wealthy operate on systems. A system is anything that produces results without requiring equal amounts of energy each time. A poor mindset says, I need to work more to earn more. A wealthy mindset says, I need to build something that works even when I'm not. This shift is everything. It's the difference between exhaustion and expansion. Systems look like automated income streams, a team that multiplies your output. Templates, procedures, workflows, habits that run on autopilot, investments that grow while you sleep, decisions you make once but benefit from forever. The wealthy don't chase intensity. They chase consistency. They use systems to remove friction, protect their attention, and ensure that their worst days still move them forward. The question that changes your life is simple. Where can I build a system instead of doing more work? 2. The leverage mindset: multiply what you already have. Leverage is the most powerful word in wealth. It means doing more with less effort, less time, less energy. The poor rely only on themselves, their time, their hands, their labor. The rich leverage people: capital, tools, technology, platforms, skills, partnerships, distribution, reputation. Every resource becomes a multiplier. If you have one skill, the poor mindset says, I need to grind harder. The millionaire mindset asks, how can this skill scale? How can I package it? How can I turn it into a product, system, or asset? Leverage is why one person earns $20 an hour while another earns $20. 000 for the same hour. One person works all week while another earns all week without working. Leverage transforms effort into expansion. It's the gateway between being busy and being wealthy. 3. The decision mindset: thinking like a strategist, not a survivor. Wealthy people make decisions differently. Most people decide based on emotion, fear, insecurity, urgency, doubt, or ego. Millionaires decide based on models: opportunity cost, long-term value, first order versus end crash, second order, consequences, risk vs reward, energy vs output, time versus return, systems versus strain. When poor minds ask, is this safe? Wealthy minds ask, what does this create long-term? When poor minds ask, how do I avoid discomfort? Wealthy minds ask, what future does this decision build? You stop reacting to every fear or temptation. You start acting like a chess player, thinking in moves, patterns, and probabilities. The wealthy don't make more right decisions. They make clearer ones, faster, with less emotional noise. 4. The pattern mindset, seeing what others can't see. Most people see problems. The wealthy see patterns. Patterns in behavior, markets, people, mistakes, opportunities. They understand that life is not random. Everything repeats. If you can read the pattern, you can predict the outcome. If you can predict the outcome, you can position yourself to win. A poor mindset says, this keeps happening to me. A wealthy mindset says, this pattern is revealing something. What does it teach me? How do I use it? Pattern recognition is why millionaires can invest ahead of trends, avoid emotional decisions, solve complex problems calmly, turn a setback into strategy, sense opportunity early. The world looks chaotic to most people, but to a trained mind, it's organized information. 5. The value mindset. Money follows what you create. Consumers say, I want money. Creators ask, what can I build that deserves money? Money flows toward value, clarity, solutions, leadership, systems, improvement. The poor ask, how can I earn more? The wealthy ask, how can I increase my value to the market? Because when your value rises, your income rises automatically. The value mindset shifts you from competing, creating, asking, offering, reacting, building, working harder, working smarter, needing money, attracting money. Once you understand this, you stop chasing income. You start expanding value. 6. The who, not how mindset. Poor minds try to do everything alone. Wealthy minds ask one question that changes their entire life. Who can do this better than me? Every time you delegate, you buy back time. You buy back energy. You buy back creativity. You buy back the ability to think strategically. The wealthy don't seek control. They seek elevation. They don't ask how to do everything. They ask who can do everything so they can focus on what matters most. 7. The compounding mindset. Most people underestimate compounding because it's slow at first. They want fast results, instant gratification, immediate return. But millionaires see life differently. They plant seeds. They water them daily. They protect them. They let time do the heavy lifting. Compounding applies to money, habits, connections, knowledge, decisions, reputation, discipline, emotional stability. Your small actions today become exponential growth in the future. The rich don't chase quick wins. They play the long game. Because they understand this truth, wealth doesn't reward speed. It rewards consistency. 8. You don't need more effort. You need better models. Most people exhaust themselves trying to work harder. Try harder. Hustle harder. But your life changes not when you add more effort, but when you upgrade the model you're thinking from. A broken model can't produce a wealthy result. A millionaire model cannot produce anything else but wealth over time. From this chapter forward, you stop thinking like a worker and you start thinking like a builder. Wealth becomes less about effort and more about architecture. And in the next chapter, you'll learn the discipline and consistency that bind all these models together, the long-term horizon that millionaires rely on to create results that last a lifetime. There is a truth every wealthy mind eventually discovers: Success is not built in a moment of inspiration. It is built in the quiet, repetitive, almost invisible moments you show up when no one is watching. Discipline is the foundation, consistency is the engine, and the long-term horizon is the direction that makes all effort meaningful. Most people fail not because they lack talent, intelligence, or opportunities. They fail because they cannot stay with something long enough for compounding to work its magic. The rich are not faster. They are more patient. They are not luckier. They are more consistent. And they don't work harder forever. They work strategically until discipline becomes identity. Let's break down the core traits that turn ordinary effort into unstoppable long-term momentum. 1. Discipline, the skill that builds every other skill. People often think discipline is about self-punishment, restriction, or force. But real discipline is clarity. It's knowing exactly what you want and refusing to negotiate with distractions. Discipline is the ability to act with your future self in mind, even when your present self wants comfort. The wealthy understand this. Your emotions cannot be trusted. Your feelings are inconsistent. Your motivation fluctuates. But discipline is a decision you renew every day. Discipline looks like doing what matters, even when you're tired, completing a small task when you don't feel like it, choosing progress over pleasure, saying no to things that steal your attention, keeping promises to yourself, resisting the urge for instant gratification. Discipline is not dramatic. It's quiet. It's simple. It's the habit of honoring your standards even on days your mood disagrees. The wealthy don't rely on inspiration. They rely on structure. 2. Consistency, the most powerful force in wealth. Anyone can be disciplined for a day. Anyone can work hard for a week. Anyone can be motivated for a month. But few can remain consistent for years, and that is why wealth looks like a miracle to the outside world. Consistency is the invisible force behind mastery. It is the bridge from intention to identity. If discipline is the spark, consistency is the fire. The poor mindset asks, how fast can I see results? The wealthy mindset asks, how long can I maintain alignment? Consistency creates trust, self-trust, financial trust, energetic trust. It signals to your subconscious that you are serious, stable, and committed. Most people fail because they confuse excitement with excellence. Consistency doesn't care how you feel. Consistency cares about who you become. The wealthy cultivate rituals, morning routines that anchor the mind, weekly planning that protects priorities, daily habits that compound without pressure, nighttime reflection that recalibrates direction. Success isn't a lucky moment. It's a predictable outcome of repeated alignment. 3. The long-term horizon, what separates the rich from everyone else. Short-term thinking is the enemy of wealth. It seduces you with quick dopamine, quick wins, and quick excuses. The rich think in decades. They move today for who they'll be in 10 years, not 10 minutes. This long-term horizon affects everything. How they invest, how they choose relationships, how they evaluate risk, how they respond to setbacks, how they handle opportunities, how they spend their time. Because when you think long-term, you stop chasing intensity and start choosing consistency. The poor quit when results are slow. The wealthy know that slow is normal, slow is necessary, slow is the beginning of compounding. A rich mindset doesn't ask, how do I get results fast? It asks, how do I make results inevitable? 4. Delayed gratification, the wealth skill most people avoid. Instant gratification is the currency of the masses. Scroll now. Eat now. Feel good now. Buy now. Avoid discomfort now. The wealthy practice the opposite. They've trained their brain to associate discomfort with growth, not danger. Delayed gratification looks like investing instead of spending, studying instead of scrolling, building instead of consuming, exercising instead of relaxing, saying, "Not yet," instead of "right now." The poor say, "It's just one day." The wealthy understand one day repeated becomes your destiny. Every time you delay gratification, you strengthen your discipline circuitry. You thicken your resilience. You elevate your self-image. It's not deprivation. It's direction. 5. Boredom, the quiet doorway to wealth. No one talks about this, but boredom destroys more dreams than fear. Most people abandon their goals not because they fail, but because they crave novelty more than progress. Real success is repetitive. It's the same habits over and over, long after the excitement fades. Millionaire don't chase stimulation. They embrace rhythm. They understand that boredom is not a sign to stop, it's a sign they're on the right track. You become wealthy the moment your habits become predictable. 6. Identity, the final stage of discipline. True discipline is not something you force. It's something you become. When you train long enough, your brain begins to identify with the identity you're practicing. I don't skip workouts. I finish what I start. I invest before I spend. I protect my focus. I don't negotiate with my future self. This is the shift. Discipline stops being an effort and becomes a natural expression of who you are. Once identity changes, results become automatic. The wealthy don't maintain discipline through pressure. They maintain it through identity. 7. The moment wealth becomes inevitable, there comes a moment, quiet, subtle, almost spiritual, when your habits, discipline, and consistency align. Suddenly, money decisions become clearer. Distractions stop tempting you. Chaos doesn't pull you back. Progress feels natural. Setbacks don't break your rhythm. You stop chasing success and start embodying it. This is the progress, long-term horizon in action. Wealth stops being a possibility and becomes a direction. Not a dream, but a destination. Not a hope, but a standard. Your future depends on this chapter: discipline, consistency, long-term thinking. If you master these 3, everything else becomes easier: money, opportunities, relationships, impact, success. Because the world doesn't reward the most talented, it rewards the most consistent. And in the next chapter, you'll step into the mindset that creates exponential value, the creator mindset: purpose, service, and building what the world needs. There is a moment in everyone's life when they realize something profound. Money does not come to consumers. Money flows toward creators. Every wealthy person, every leader, every visionary you admire has one thing in common: they stopped waiting and they started building. The creator mindset is the mental shift that transforms your entire financial reality. It pulls you out of reaction mode and places you into creation mode, where value multiplies, opportunities expand, and wealth follows naturally. This chapter isn't about business strategies. It's about the deeper identity shift that turns you from a passive participant into an active architect of your future. Let's step into the core of what it truly means to operate like a creator. 1. The world is divided into 2 types of people. There are consumers, those who spend, absorb, react, and wait. And there are creators, those who design, build, contribute, and initiate. Consumers get pulled by life. Creators pull life toward them. Consumers ask, what's available for me? Creators ask, what can I make available for the world? Consumers trade time for entertainment. Creators trade time for value. And here is the truth. The wealthy never ignore money, follows value, not effort. You don't get paid for your time. You get paid for the value your time produces. The moment you shift from consuming value to creating it, your entire financial destiny changes. 2. Purpose, the engine behind wealth that lasts. Purpose is not something you find, it's something you design through contribution. Purpose is built each time you help someone, solve a problem, teach a lesson, share a gift, or bring clarity to someone's chaos. Most people never tap into their purpose because they look for a lightning bolt. But purpose doesn't arrive dramatically, it whispers. Through curiosity, through compassion, through the things that energize you more than they exhaust you. Purpose matters in wealth for one powerful reason. Purpose creates energy that discipline alone could never produce. When you have purpose, you don't burn out, you burn brighter. You don't chase motivation, you generate it. You don't quit, you evolve. You don't work for money, money works through you. The wealthy know money becomes meaningless without meaning. Purpose is what turns success into significance. 3. Creation over consumption. Look at the people you admire. They are creators. Authors create books, entrepreneurs create businesses, developers create tools. Artists create emotion. Educators create understanding. Healers create peace. Leaders create direction. Creation is not limited to content or business. Creation simply means this: you add something to the world that wasn't there before. A new idea, a solution, a message, a system, a voice, a perspective, a transformation. Creativity is not a talent. It is bravery. The bravery to share what you know, what you care about, and what you believe can help others grow. When you become a creator, you stop asking, what can I get, and begin asking, what can I give? And wealth responds to giving, never to grasping. 4. You are always creating something, even when you think you're doing nothing. You're creating something. Your daily thoughts create your emotional environment. Your habits create your future results. Your decisions create your destiny. Your mindset creates your opportunities. Your energy creates the way people respond to you. Everything about you is creative power in motion. The real question is, are you creating consciously or unconsciously? Creators build deliberately. Consumers create unintentionally through fear, avoidance, procrastination, or chaos. The creator mindset teaches you to build with intention, to sculpt your life instead of letting it sculpt you. 5. Building value, the real source of wealth. People often misunderstand wealth. They think it comes from luck, hard work, or intelligence. But wealth comes from a simple formula: value multiplication sign, leverage multiplication sign. Time value is the problem you solve. Leverage is the system that amplifies it. Time is the compounding effect that magnifies it. But here is the foundation. Everything begins with value. If you create value, you become irreplaceable. If you amplify value, you become unstoppable. If you sustain value, you become wealthy. Value is not complicated. Value is anything that makes someone's life easier, faster, clearer. more efficient, less painful, more meaningful, more hopeful. When your life becomes valuable to others, money naturally gravitates toward you. Because money is a mirror, it reflects the value you create. 6. Creation requires courage, not perfection. Most people never step into creation because they are obsessed with perfection. But creation isn't about perfect. Creation is about progression. The wealthy think differently. They launch before they feel ready. They learn through doing, not delaying. They improve by iteration, not hesitation. They expect mistakes and grow through them. Consumers wait for the right moment. Creators create the moment. If you want to train your brain for wealth, you must embrace imperfect action. Every piece of value you release into the world plants a seed. And seeds don't look like trees at first, but they contain the potential for forests. 7. Serving through strength. One of the deepest truths of a creator mindset is this: your greatest value is hidden inside your greatest strength. Your strength may be your way of thinking, your clarity, your empathy, your resilience, your communication, your creativity, your ability to teach, your ability to encourage, your unique perspective on life. You don't need to be extraordinary. You need to be authentic. The world doesn't reward perfection. It rewards contribution. When you use your natural gifts to serve others, money becomes a side effect of the transformation you offer. 8. The creator identity, the wealth magnet. The day you decide to become a creator, your relationship with money changes forever. Because creators don't chase money. Creators attract money by creating value that people desire, need, and appreciate. Creators live differently. They ask better questions. They see opportunities everywhere. They think, how can I build this? They operate from possibility, not limitation. They take ownership instead of blaming circumstances. They move with intention, not reaction. And here is the secret: creators are rare. Consumers are everywhere. Scarcity creates value, and value creates wealth. 9. Your contribution is your currency. Every creator eventually realizes your contribution to the world becomes your currency in the world. Knowledge is currency. Service is currency. Solutions are currency. Clarity is currency. Transformation is currency. Leadership is currency. Inspiration is currency. The more you give, the more you grow. The more you grow, the more you attract. The more you attract, the more you rise. Creation is the gateway from making money to becoming someone money trusts. The creator mindset is your turning point. When you shift into the creator identity, you stop waiting for wealth and start generating it. You stop fearing the future and start shaping it. You stop chasing opportunities and start building them. In the next chapter, you will step into the final transformation, the wealth identity, becoming the person money trusts, where wealth becomes not just what you have, but who you are. There is a truth most people never learn in their lifetime. Money doesn't flow to the smartest person or the hardest working person. It flows to the most aligned person. At the end of all skills, all habits, all systems, and all strategies, wealth comes down to identity. Your identity is the internal blueprint that decides how much money you believe you deserve, how much you can hold, and how much you're willing to rise for. You never outperform your identity. You always return to it. In this final chapter, you will step into the version of yourself that money trusts, the version wealth gravitates to. Because your inner world finally matches the life you're trying to build. Let's begin. 1. Money trusts people who trust themselves. Money is energy, and energy is attracted to stability, clarity, and confidence, not arrogance, but grounded self-trust. People with a wealthy identity move through life differently. They make decisions sooner. They don't second-guess every step. They don't overthink opportunities into oblivion. They follow through on what they say. They treat their word like currency. Self-trust is the foundation of wealth because inconsistency repels abundance and alignment magnetizes it. Money needs a stable container. When you trust yourself, you become that container. 2. Your identity is the thermostat of your wealth. Everything you've earned up to this point is a reflection of the level your subconscious believes is safe. That is your financial thermostat. If your thermostat is set to survival, you'll sabotage anything beyond survival. If it's set to just enough, you'll always find a way back to just enough. But when you raise that thermostat to expansion, when your identity says, I am someone who builds wealth, keeps wealth, and multiplies wealth, your subconscious rearranges your behaviors to match that belief. Your self-image is the silent architect behind every financial decision you make. To change your income, you must first change your internal setting. 3. The version of you that money avoids. Money avoids people who feel unworthy, panic, under pressure, seek validation from others, break their own promises, operate from fear or scarcity, rely on motivation instead of structure, chase shortcuts instead of consistency. These aren't flaws. They are simply signals that your identity has not yet been upgraded to match the wealth you desire. Money avoids chaos. Money avoids confusion. Money avoids inconsistency. But money flows to clarity, and clarity comes from identity. 4. Becoming someone money trusts. Money trusts people who honor their commitments. You do what you say you'll do, even when no one is watching. Especially then. Treat money with respect. You track it. You study it. You understand it. Not obsessively, but intentionally. Hold emotional stability. You stay calm when others panic. You breathe when others react. You observe before you decide. Create more value than they consume. You leave people, places, and situations better than you found them. Build without needing approval. You move with purpose, not permission. Act from identity, not emotion. You don't wait to feel ready. You act like the person you're becoming. This is the identity wealth trusts. This is who money stays with. This is who money multiplies through. 5. Wealth speaks a language. Learn to speak it. The language of wealth is subtle. But once you understand it, everything changes. Wealth speaks in long-term thinking, emotional regulation, value creation, disciplined action, intentional decisions, aligned identity. Money does not respond to desperation. It responds to direction. It does not respond to wishing. It responds to willingness. You don't earn wealth first. You embody it first. Your identity becomes fluent in the language of abundance long before your bank account reflects it. This is why wealth always begins in the mind before it ever shows up in your life. 6. The wealth identity behaves differently. When you adopt a wealthy identity, your life changes quietly but dramatically. You begin to choose opportunities differently, use time with intention, filter relationships with discernment, act with clarity instead of chaos. Stay calm in uncertainty. See patterns others misoperate from purpose. Not pressure. You stop chasing because you no longer need to. You become the kind of person who opportunities chase. Wealthy identity is not ego. It is emotional maturity. It is internal alignment. It is the deep knowing that you are a creator, not a follower, a builder, not a seeker. This is the shift that opens the door to the life you've been preparing for. 7. The world reflects who you are, not what you want. This is the law most people misunderstand. You don't attract what you desire. You attract what you are. If you desire wealth but your identity screams unworthiness, you repel it. If you desire abundance but operate from scarcity, you block it. If you desire expansion but remain attached to fear, you delay it. Identity is the magnet. Identity is the filter. Identity is the foundation that all wealth is built upon. When you become the person money trusts, respects, and responds to, your external world shifts to match your inner world. Wealth is not the goal. Identity is. Because once the identity is built, wealth has no choice but to follow. 8. This is your turning point. You have reached the end of the 10-chapter transformation. But this chapter is the beginning of your new life. From this moment forward, remind yourself, I am the architect of my wealth. I am the container that money can trust. My identity creates my income. My belief creates my behavior. My alignment creates my abundance. I no longer chase wealth. I become the person wealth chooses. Identity first, then reality. This is the blueprint of true transformation. This is how wealthy minds are built. This is how wealthy lives are created. Take one slow breath. Let your shoulders soften and feel this truth settle into you. You are no longer the person who struggles for money. You are becoming the person money feels safe with. Every idea you've absorbed, every shift in your thinking, every moment you felt something inside you awaken. It wasn't motivation. It was identity forming. Wealth isn't something you chase. It's something you grow into, and you've started that growth tonight. So, as you fall asleep later, I want you to repeat one quiet sentence in your mind. My mind is learning wealth even while I rest. Because it's true. The subconscious listens more deeply when the world grows quiet and your mind becomes still. If this audiobook touched something in you, if even one sentence felt like truth, then honor that feeling. Like this video as a small promise to yourself. Subscribe to the channel so you can keep training your mind daily. And comment below, I'm rewriting my wealth identity. Your words create momentum. Your voice creates direction. And remember this, you are not behind. You are not late. You are simply stepping into the version of yourself that was always waiting to be awakened. Wealth is not born from luck. It is built from awareness, discipline, and identity. And you are building all three. Sleep peacefully tonight. Your mind is becoming rich long before your reality catches up. You are the asset. Train your mind, and the rest will follow.